And just gonna check the microphone here. Yetis. Okay, we're good, I think, right?
No, it's gotta be up front. You gotta see up there.
Oh, how do I switch the camera out, Val? I don't. I'm looking at me right now.
You're looking at you.
I'm looking at me. It's faced towards me.
It's the camera on the computer, not the camera in the ceiling facing Marla.
Yeah, it's the camera on the computer, not the one facing me. Or not the
Well, that's not how it was.
Oh.
Shut up. So, at this point, just let Marla start, and then I will be in there, and literally I'm on the first 7 in already. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
All right, let's go ahead.
Here, it's saying select the cap. Hold on, let me try something here.
I have no idea.
Wow.
How many
This is like amazing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be right in.
Okay.
So I'm so happy that y'all chose to come today.
Well, I don't want to
It's a
pause it.
choice whether you know, actively.
We're gonna be on mute for a few minutes. She'll be right in. She's gonna call
You
you.
can sit in your garage
Turn it that way. Sorry, John.
all day long and you are not gonna become a car. No matter what. You got it. Yeah. So by coming and involving yourself over and over and over again, you're gonna become, you know, what you need to be, but you have to put effort into it and actually do the business. So we're gonna talk about how do we find business? You know, if you wanna do real estate and, you know, 5 people, but then after those 5 people we ran through, how are we gonna find more business? So that's what we're gonna talk about today. And so I'm so excited because I love group participation. I'm hoping all of you join in, tell me what you think, and that you all did your homework. And we're gonna all go out learning something that we're gonna be able to change our lives with today. So we're gonna start out by just going over what happened since Wednesday when you were here, and a little bit about how it went with your calls and your cards and your prospecting. So let's take a look first to see, how many people entered your information on the lead board in your chat? Okay, how many? Okay, so you guys come up here right now and you can pick a snack. Okay, get a reward. And good pudding there is.
Oh, it hit me.
So we got cookies, pudding, fruit snacks, crackers, cheese, oatmeal, and things. So we do have rewards for participation, so just to let you know. All right, did you watch the videos that were there for you to take in? You did? What did you think of that?
It's good. I think I like the ones from Princeton.
Okay. And what did you feel like you took away that made you like that one?
It kind of gives a foundation of what we're going to be doing for the entire session. All of these sessions.
Okay. Yeah, it's always good if you kind of know where you're headed. It makes a little bit more sense along the path. So I totally understand that. Anybody else love the videos?
I like the 6 perspectives. Even though they were very short videos, there were little, like the one lady was talking about, the gentleman had came there and said, let's open up an office and we'll have 1,000 agents. And she was like, no, do that. But now, when she got rid of that negative mindset, now they have like 6,000 agents. And it was just, when you start to think about, we limit, I limit myself so much that I'm like, I can't do that. But then when you look back, like I've achieved that plus a lot, and it's good to see somebody else that struggled.
That's good. What's your name?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Takia?
Zakia.
Zakia. Thank you, Zakia. So did you hear what she said when she got rid of the negative mindset? So once they thought they could do it, they did it and more. So 90% of everything is your mindset. So if you start thinking you're gonna do it, and not I'm gonna try to do it, but I am gonna do it, you'll do it. It's just amazing how it happens. So start thinking about that, and when you and if you take the bold class, they're real big on using the word try. If you eliminate that word try, but you say you intend to, it's much more powerful in the direction that you take from that point. So, anybody else have an aha about the videos?
Lead generation just drives you home how important that's really the core of everything.
That is so true. What's your name?
I'm Cindy Beverly. I'm a classic nurse.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so lead generation, it is the foundation to everything. And with these videos that you're watching, let me tell you, just watching them once is nice. But if you periodically, the ones that really impacted you, go back and re-listen to them. Because every single time you're going to find out something new. And then maybe even the stuff that you thought was amazing then, it'll just well up in you again and more stuff will pop out and you'll learn that too. Okay, so let's see what happened this week in the class with calls and things. Let's see here. So I'm sorry, not everybody is on this list, so if you've done the work, I apologize if it's not on here. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the newest one, or was this the same as you saw when you came in on Wednesday?
No, this is different.
This is different? All right, so we've got the top associates this week in contacts and database was Yvonne, James, Ingrida?
Yes.
Okay, Ingrid?
Ingrid.
Okay, Ingrida. Jim with 18 and Renita, and I met you, okay. So congratulations on that. We've got connections, Roberta. Who's Roberta? Because I went, okay, so you're from the same team. Yes. Alexandria, is she here? She's not here, okay. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
Good. She got in there for connections. James back there, and Jason. Who's Jason? Not here? Okay. Handwritten notes, again, Ingrida. Am I saying that right? Say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Jason, Laura, James, and Alexandra. Homes previewed, MJ, because she told me if I call her Mary Jane, she feels like she's in trouble. So we're not. James again, Laura, Roberta, and Jason. So we're seeing a pattern. The ones that are in the top are kind of doing everything. If your name's on that list, come on up and you can get a stamp if you like. So congratulations on that. How did you feel when you did all these things? What happened in your business as you added people to your database, made the contacts, wrote the notes? What happened? How did you feel?
Well, for me, that was like something really different because I never did that. And
What's your name?
Joy.
Joy?
Yeah, and I felt really good about writing the cards, but even better when people actually like reached out and they were like crying and like over dramatic. But like, I didn't realize it really meant a lot to people when you do something like that. So I got really good feedback. They're like, you took time out your schedule to send this to me. I mean, like, I went to church, they were like, yeah, Joy sent me a card too. And, you know, so I felt good writing it, but it was even better that it really made someone's day. So it was
That's
nice.
fun. So it's working.
Mhm.
You found out what you did, people noticed.
Yes, yes.
That feels good. That feels good.
Hi, Marla.
Hi, Val.
How are you? Thank you so much for doing this. Hi, everybody. I'm here because I told you I'd be checking on everybody's 10-4, which Marla's already doing that. I pulled up her leaderboard.
I'm sorry. You can take over and say anything else you want.
No, you're doing fantastic. I just want to make sure that they all know that I'm still watching what they're doing.
And then make sure that you check the ones that are not part of KW. They have paper sheets. So they're gonna show you
Okay.
their stuff.
All right.
Also have a quick question,
Oh, but for me or for Marla?
probably for you, because are you the one that's doing the leaderboard?
No,
Is it
you were doing
automatic?
the leaderboard.
Okay, so we just wondered, is that an automatic like live feed?
Yes, so when you enter into your tracker, it is automatically going into here. If you're not getting your name up here and you feel that you have more than the numbers that are on this leaderboard, then make sure you see me at break or after.
I'm just curious, like contacts and database, the first one,
Yes,
number 5,
Yeah, mine, that's me, it has
and it has a 0.
the way it's calculated, maybe somebody else didn't have anything between 0 and 18.
But I think we did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did. It's working.
All right, well, we'll look and see what's going on that back end.
So it's not a
Gotta love
cutoff.
technology.
Is there a cutoff like time, like you have to have them by 8 o'clock?
No, it should be right when,
It's
well,
live.
whenever she pulled up the leaderboard.
Okay,
So
so it's like a live stream.
Yeah, I redid it right when class started, so.
Perfect.
I did it right before.
I'll look into it though.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marla, thank you.
Thank you. Didn't Val do a good job? Yeah. All right, so good to know that, the ones that aren't here yet, that you've got, your sheets. Why don't it break if you can bring those by to me? So did you find it hard to actually do these 4 things that you have to do every week, or what's, anybody having a struggle with it? Tell us about that. What's your name?
Angela.
Angela?
Well, I guess it's a struggle for me just because I have to get disciplined and just kind of pointing it like, okay, I gotta do this because I get calls throughout the day and other things and showings and I'm running, and so I've really gotta set my time to say, and then I gotta say, okay, what's a good time? You know what I mean? So that's my problem.
So how do you think that you could, have a solution for that? What do you think would be the remedy?
Well, I think the remedy is just changing my mindset. I mean, that's the remedy, really. Just, okay, Angela, this is what's going to grow your business. So if this is going to grow your business, then you have to do it. So, yeah.
Anybody else have any ideas?
to grow, or just about
About the 10-4 and keeping it something?
I try to do it first thing in the morning.
Try?
I'm sorry, I intend,
Okay.
I do. I've done it, I've done it, and I beat some of the prospects.
Okay.
So I've done the 10 for everything and the beat the prospects, but what I'm finding is that I like writing the notes, they take a little longer than you think, so, but, so I've done the 10 a day, but, what I'm noticing is it's really invigorating me and empowering me to do what I'm supposed to do. For instance, last night, my husband and I went up to the Drury Lane Theater, we had season tickets and thought Beauty and the Beast. Well, we made friends with the people behind us, and I exchanged my information, but more importantly, I got theirs, so they're in my database.
Excellent.
Yeah, my.
Right there, finding business,
Yes,
wherever she went, she found it.
Absolutely. I took my nephew to the doctor on Thursday, so that was yesterday, and I handed out my calendars to his psychologist and the secretary
Okay,
and got their information, and they are now in my database, so.
fantastic.
I've done it over the years sporadically, but now it's my intent to do it with everybody.
Okay.
So that's exciting.
Anybody else, Kim?
We have to be so careful time blocking our schedule and then trying to intending to find a way to stick to that. Because it's not just about having a schedule, but are you going to go on appointments here? Are you going to make the phone calls here? Are you going to,
So making a choice about your own schedule.
be disciplined?
Very good. You gotta guard that time. Okay. Okay. And what's the struggle about? She's saying she's having a struggle calling people in her phone and asking them for an address. Okay. So, and if they're in your phone, you probably have somewhat of a relationship with them already. So, I mean, it should just be like a natural flow,
I gotta tell you what I'm doing now, you know, I'm in with Keller Williams in real estate. And I would love it if you would help me grow my business. And I have some really exciting marketing news. Do you mind if I have your email and address so I can keep you posted on what's going on in the market? So it should be just something so natural and so easy and non-threatening, especially with the people on your phone, because they already know, love, and trust you usually. So that should be the easiest person to ask for the address. And it's the way you present it, and you know, more. And if you ask them to help you grow your business, people want to help you. So if you just ask them, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do that. So
Can I
yes.
just add to that? You know what I did was I just decided to call everybody on the phone. I don't have a database. I've been doing this for years.
Okay.
I just call everybody, tell them I'm gonna put them on a friends and family database that I control. So whatever they get is coming directly to me, because it's true. We're not gonna be getting a call. You mentioned them from California. Sometimes there's been a couple people that I will wait to give you their address. I just text them and then I call them. So no, listen, I'm controlling it. So if you get something, so you don't forget about me when somebody mentioned it on my house. And, you know, if they're a vendor or they work, I also tell them to put them on a preferred vendor. So then they're like, oh, so you're both getting it.
And it is strange, even though you tell them you're in real estate, sometimes they forget. So it is good that you get them on that campaign to keep reminding them about what's going on. So
I can identify what you're saying, because I felt the same way, very uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you will get, and it'll start flowing. The more you do it.
And I want to mention this, this thing about lead gen and scheduling and controlling your own schedule. You think that, you know, you're the only one dealing with this, but this is what top agents, mega agents that do 2,000 deals, you know, everybody deals with these same issues. This isn't just something that new people in the Ignite class deal with. I mean, Jim, what do I have at my door on my office down there?
Mostly clothes.
If I'm lead genning, I have a sign on the door, lead gen in progress or whatever it says, do not enter.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
that's
So
right.
if my door is closed, people know they respect me and my time that I'm in there working.
I try to knock anyway.
He comes in anyways, but I mean, for the other people, they. But you have to treat your lead gen as an appointment.
That's right.
And you need to keep it, it's about the consistency of it. And I love what we're gonna find in another video today, and I'll just give you a sneak preview. I love this video so much, I've already watched it 5 times. But one of the guys said, it's not what you do today, it's what did you do in the whole year. So don't beat yourself up because maybe one day you blew it, okay? Just get back up, do it the next day, and you'll see if you just keep doing it, what happens in a whole year. So we're gonna find out about that. All right, what else do you want to tell me about your calls, your adding people to the database, your writing notes, anything else that's, Laura?
I was surprised that, when I started calling my database, because I had taken a break.
Okay.
From lead gen. But when I started calling, I found people that were waiting for me to call. And, one couple said they were glad that I had called because they were working with another agent to sell their house and buy another house in Indiana. And they said that they were glad that I called because I gave them some tips, and they said they wanted to work with someone they could trust. And another person that I called was my sister, who's selling her house and moving to Lubbock, Texas. And
Oh
she
my
said,
goodness.
you called just in time.
Wow. So
And
they need people forget.
Wow. Yes, I was like, and you didn't call me? But I had not worked my database in a while, so.
Yeah. Some people are praying for a solution, and you just might be that one person that is an answer to their prayer. So don't fear that you're gonna ask them for the email. If you're calling them, that might be just what they needed for that day. So, I mean, I can get in a whole thing about fear, and if we could just get rid of that one thing, I don't even know what we would be in this room, but we would be pretty amazing people. Just getting rid of that one thing. So everybody deals with it. It's not a surprise. All right, so why don't we get our phones out? We're gonna do a little bit of calling this morning. Did everybody bring a list of people that they're gonna start calling this morning? Because one thing we're gonna go over today too is it always takes preparation before you call. You want to know who you're going to be calling. It saves a lot of time in the process. So how many people do have a list of names they're going to call right now? So about 50%. Okay. So let's just take a few minutes for the ones that don't and kind of think, is there anybody in your phone that you could call and just let them know that you're there for them if they have any real estate needs, ask for a referral, let them know you are with Keller Williams if you're already licensed or in the position to do that. If you aren't licensed yet, or you're in a position you can't talk about real estate, you know what, just use this time, call a couple people and have gratitude calls. Say, you know what, I was just thinking about you today and wanted you to know that, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Just start out each day with gratitude. So if you aren't in a position where you got names that you can call for real estate, make a couple gratitude calls. Just because even practicing that and making a phone call gets you into that practice that now the next call I make, it'll be a little bit easier. And then I can talk about this because you don't just go in and throw up on somebody everything you know about real estate in one call. You gotta establish that relationship, you know, and sometimes it takes quite a few contacts before they'll let you in to be that person. All right, so I'm gonna set the timer. Let's go ahead and.
Do I need to move for you?
No, sorry.
Do we have,
I'm trying
what
to change the
scripts are you
camera
gonna
to go
use
up there.
before we start?
Oh, okay.
Maybe you should go over.
Unless you let have your back in your head on the camera the rest of the time.
No, please change it.
Page 9, 10, 11, are several scripts that you
Trying
can
to figure out
use.
how to change it to that.
You can use the script if you got a referral and you're gonna call them about doing something for them, either buying or selling, and there's scripts on that. If you're new to real estate, this is what you're gonna say. If you're a seasoned agent and you're new to Keller Williams, here's a script that you can use. Again, reminding them that you're in real estate. Like Laura just said, it happened to her twice this week. You could use that script. And new to the area, there's a script. And then, of course, on the right-hand side goes with both the top ones. So do you feel comfortable with those, or would you like to practice with a neighbor saying those scripts? You're ready to go, okay? Okay, so let's do that. Let's take 20 minutes and make calls, and then we're gonna write on this board if you made a appointment. Come up and put your name up here if you got an appointment or a referral. All right?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there a reason? What would you decide to act on? You already sent it. Okay. Well, I wish you I definitely will. I'm hoping I see it under contract, but if I don't. Of course. Thank you.
Oh, you're done already.
Well, no, it wouldn't hook up. So I wonder.
You know, they ought to.
I wonder if this cord right here
Oh, sure it does.
has anything to do with that. Let's try that. Let's try that.
Yeah.
It's amazing how unplugged cords can cause problems.
Always the first thing to.
Oh no, I know. Oh, you're on TV.
I was gonna pick my nose for a minute or two.
Very nice. Your iPhone's it's got a moon camera. I wonder if the old loggy capture should take over now. I don't think so.
Really?
Can't start video. Failed to start video camera. Please select another video camera in settings.
You gotta hate it when people are in here playing around with stuff.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's another one. There's one that I haven't seen before.
A new option?
Yep. And look at that. I think it's going to work. Nope. Camera failed to start. That was a new option.
How many USB? It shouldn't matter where you plug it in, though, right?
There it is. That's it.
Got it. Nice job. Now you're gonna have to do everything.
I just won't come anymore. I can watch it from home now that I know it's being recorded live.
Yeah. All right, what am I looking for here? Oh, that's what I was doing. Freaking it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so when you go in here, and you go find your okay. Now go up. Or you can, of course, if it's the one, you don't, the one. It's like
If I could kiss you, I would.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can
Julie can't try.
open that up. Or
Thank you.
It
was.
You wanna go.
Do you love it or what?
I was here.
You weren't here.
So I'm sure you wanna hit Mondays.
Sure, I gotta make it.
So let's go back.
I'm gonna take my own email.
I will. Anything else I can do for you, sir?
That's it.
Thank you, I appreciate
Yep,
it.
thanks.
Number two, now that's on here. So you gotta go down to. So here is the mission. Okay. Power session and the script. Okay. So you can get all the ones that you missed there from that. Okay. And then watch any videos through that, once you pull it up, okay? And then how do I go? So in today's, you have the scripts on page 3. Okay. And session 2. Okay. Hello, Joe. So you can use okay. And then, and see this here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, so when you go back into.
Yes, ma'am, you know I am, yes, ma'am, and right there in the county, the main part right there. You know,
and then you want to go or here you can enter your and then
oh, so soy Fátima Ortiz.
like if you did 2.
No. Unos 3 meses estaba buscando una página.
So your dad raised you just do that and then that'll change it and I'll see it. Okay. That's what we need. All right, and then
Trying to get on the horse.
Okay,
so, and then make sure you have.
okay, muchas gracias.
So that goes for this one.
Did they do anything for you, Joe, after you?
Dame su número.
And
Dame su número.
the info on here is to go look at and all that. That is in your email. So, on the first page.
She's like going corporate or something like that.
When you go into my theater.
Right, trying to save it. I see that they haven't posted anything about the.
I don't know, there is an extra class. I don't know if they went over that one.
Thank you.
Michael, and we got Kate. That Kate, yeah.
So there's good.
Okay, so then you're gonna go into,
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, Joe,
Litigation. Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. I saw. Go back next week.
Do you have any loops?
Okay. Okay.
I will have to figure out places. I'm not sure. Okay, okay, all right, thank you.
Oh, you know, sometimes kids might get away. Well, yeah. That's cool. But when you can get that, that'd be great. Bye, man.
Yes, I did. When I would come in, you told me.
Well, give me your address and Joe, just so I can. Okay. Yeah. Your heart's still out here. That's awesome. Yeah, they are. Well, Joe. Thank you.
I'll send you a card in the mail with my business card, okay? Okay, sweetie, okay, thanks so much. Who was that?
It's going pretty good. Not bad. I occasionally go, unfortunately. And, how's another year ago, last year, okay, pretty good. There's a lot of people coming in, is my question. That is,
She might.
I went here, sure, gonna take care.
Oh, yeah.
If you got a contact, please come up and put it on the board.
This is, how's the retirement? I see you're doing a lot of travel. Anyway. Oh, really? Anyway, I'm car waiting, anybody wants to sell something, they call. Or would you have some call me? Right after you take care of yourself, say, hey, that's your call. Take care.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Anybody else with a referral or appointment? Like if you talk to somebody and they didn't want to buy or sell, but they know somebody that possibly, then they give you a name. But today, okay. Pardon? Okay. All right, so we have just a couple people on the phone now. We're gonna ask them just to step out and finish their calls. All right, are you coming out to put your name on the board? Yeah. Awesome. What can you tell me about the,
But I was able to connect this one first.
okay,
And his dad wants to buy a house.
that is great. Yep, your name and then that you got to read. And I'm sorry, LaShonda, did you get something out of the snack basket? Oh, no. Would you like one? Okay, take something out of the snack basket. All right, so, I've given every one of you 2 cards and 2 envelopes. Make sure you got the right amount. If you got too many, hand them back in. If you didn't get enough, let me know. And then right now, just take, a moment and use your cards. If you did connect with somebody, write them a handwritten note right now. Okay? For those extra. That's okay, it's another. Yeah, did anybody need anything? Both? Everybody else get 2 of each. All right, so on page 12 is a script of what you can write on your thank you note. If you have met him, you might say, who wants to read this for me? Go ahead.
Matt, thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. It was great to catch up with you and know what I've been up to in my business. I'm thrilled to be with Timberlake Realty, and I'm available to you at any time to be an asset and resource to you, your family, and your friends. Please call me whenever a question or need comes up. I'll stay in touch. I appreciate you, and I wish you the best.
Fantastic. So that's if you know somebody, you have a conversation, and an example of what you might say on your note. Who up here was going to read for me also? Okay, would you read the referral one? Sure.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. It was great getting to know you, and I look forward to helping you. Please know that I'm available for you at any time to be an asset and resource to you, your family, and your friends. Please call me whenever a question or need comes up. I'll stay in touch. I wish you all the best.
Fantastic. So with that in mind, since you didn't ask for is it Juanita? So since you didn't ask for the address, you can call them back and say, hey, I have a thank you note for you. I want to send out what's your address and email. You know, another reason for contact. Guess what? Nobody knows what your handwriting looks like. So if you don't have handwriting that somebody can read, have someone else write it for you. Jim. All right, so Jim's having his wife fill out a bunch of these cards for him. You know, he gave her the script and she's writing it for him. So, you know, even when it comes to like holidays or anything that you're sending out major amount of cards, you can get help with that. Nobody is going to know that you personally did not write that card. you know, just a little tip to save you a little bit of time. I mean, it is nice, to write in because you get to feel good and they get to feel good. Do you know what I mean by that? But when you are getting busy, you can have somebody else, and if they're not gonna be able to read your writing, definitely you have somebody else. So. Okay, how are we doing, the ones that contacted, are you getting through your card, or do you need just to do that?
Okay, so we're writing a thank you card to everybody that we actually connect with, not necessarily an appointment.
That you just talked to, you can send them, one of these scripts on page 12 that, or your own verbiage. It was great talking to you today, you know, blah, 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 blah. And that's what.
I spoke with someone that I haven't talked to in at least about 5 or 7 years.
Okay.
And I did not know who this person was. They did not know who I was. And we finally figured out he was my son's baseball little league coach.
Okay.
Yes, little league coach, and my son is in high school now.
That's wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yes, and she called a couple people that she didn't know who they were, and they didn't know who she was, but at least she's got a contact and maybe
Yes.
a buyer.
And he was more than willing to give me all of his information.
That is great. That's great. All right, so we did this.
Do we need these cards? No, we don't do it, right?
No, you will mail them to them.
Thank you.
So this is something you want to get in a habit of doing every single day, is getting at least 10 contacts, writing thank you notes. Do you know, okay, so we're at day 5 now with Ignite. So how many people should you guys have entered into your database now? 50. That's huge. Some people have been in the business for 3 years and don't have anybody in their database. Or some people have been in the business 15 years and they have no clue who's in their database, but they have a lot of people in there. It's not about just getting them into your database. What are you gonna do with them once you get there? That's a whole other class. You're gonna love it. But for now, get into the habit, okay, of seeking out everywhere you go. If you go to the gym, if you go to the grocery store, if you go to the Drury Lane, any place you're talking to people, a conversation can come up that you can find business.
Being that I'm coming from another.
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, it depends. Do they have, do you have a signed agreement with the last?
No, it's just.
What was the question?
New option for that, you know, so it's kind of like, you know.
Well, with those clients, you're gonna say, hey, I moved over to Keller Williams now. I would love to remain being your real estate agent, and if so, you know, could I put you on my, you know, drip, you're not gonna say drip campaign, but can I send you things periodically? And they're gonna let you know, I mean, they're not gonna be probably faithful to that company that you were with, they're gonna be faithful to you because you were the go-to person.
And the dynamic is where this whole thing started, the original and off.
Okay.
So it's like they've done several services for these people, and chances are we might get when Danny's calling, I just don't understand.
Yeah, whatever your agreement legally is with them, okay, so you just have to ask permission from each client. If they wanna be, yeah. And if you feel like you're doing something wrong, maybe have a conversation with the people. You love to say, I'd love to, you know, contact people that I personally know with. You have I mean, whatever you feel like is the right thing to do, don't go against something you feel like is better.
I have a question.
Yes.
Should I get a brain freeze on this? When I keep hearing people say, oh, if you know of anyone looking to buy or sell in the future, I always say I'd love to help them out, and I hear from them, I'd be honored to help them. What's a better word than honored? I feel like it's just not a word I say.
Who has an idea?
I'd be happier.
Yeah, just you have your, that's what I usually use. I didn't know if there was anything else.
Anybody else have an idea?
Trust.
I sometimes say, I'd be just thrilled to be your go-to person.
The other day, comparing, stay on.
Yeah. So if you had 50 people in your database and you're touching them quite a bit, and you do that every week, that's 100 in a month, or 200 in a month. I mean, 200 people in your database that you're contacting over and over, you are gonna start getting really busy if you've got that many people in your database. So it's the consistency of doing it and then keeping in contact with those people. All right, we already called. We wrote some handwritten notes. So success leads clues. Agents who take Ignite achieve 71% more contacts, 65% more calls, and 88% more previews. They grow their market share and create opportunities. John Davis, the previous CEO of Keller Williams, said that. So we're going to talk about what happens with these leads. So as you can see, there's a funnel. James, how do I get this left side on?
The left side up or off?
Off. And just have this bigger.
Scroll that left side up.
Down the bottom, the present looks like a little bottom right-hand corner.
Bottom right hand corner.
Yeah, see a little projector looking thing? That's like a projector screen. It's, yeah, it's like the little, up a little bit right there. Now go over. Keep going, right, like right, you just missed it. One more.
This right there.
Yeah.
The slideshow?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and then you just hit space bar or whatever and it'll move.
Okay, so we've got leads, appointments, agreements, and contract. And then you gotta go through that, filter all those people down, you get rid of the ones that aren't gonna buy, aren't gonna sell. The ones that are, you set an appointment, you make an agreement with them, you get a contract, and you close. Now, if you don't have any leads, how many appointments, agreements, contracts, and close are you? None. So the more leads we can get in there, the more chance you are to get appointments, agreements, contracts, and closes. Okay. So the goal is to move all the leads that you can into appointments. And then all the appointments that you can, you want to get them under contract, either saying, yes, I give you permission to work with me to find a house and sign a buyer's agreement, or yes, I want you to list my house. So we want to get one of those two things. So here it says at the bottom, prospecting is the cornerstone of lead generation. Every time you meet somebody, you should be thinking, what is the relationship opportunity here? You know, are they gonna be somebody that I'm gonna help out in real estate, or, you know, maybe even they could help you. Maybe whatever they do as in business could be something, you know, it's a two-way street. You know, and if you use their services, they're more likely to use your services. So also be interested in what they're doing. All right, so we've got 4 C's of prospecting. we got the 4 simple steps. James, can you read those 4 for me?
Yep. Capture, connect, close, and cultivate.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit about capturing. What is capturing? We get their information. You know, ideally, you want to get name, phone number, email, and home address. That would be the ultimate, of course. If you can get a name and an email, that's great. A phone number is fantastic. I love Jackie's, if you don't mind if I share this about dropping off a bag. So Jackie, tell us a little bit about one way that you capture.
So I'm with Ventimiglia Realty Partners, so Fury Ventimiglia, so is Roberta. And when we do open houses, we have brown bags that have a little bit of an explanation. We put the flyer for the open house in the bag, and then when we knock on the door, we invite them to the open house, but then we also let them know that we're collecting non-perishable food items for a local food pantry for whichever area that we're doing the open house in. So we invite them to either drop off those items at the open house, or if they're unable to make the open house, they can text us, and we'd be happy to just pick them up from their house, even on their doorstep if they don't want to talk to us again. But it's after the open house, so we'll stop by after the open house and pick that up for them. So it's just another way to let them know that we want to give back to their community, and, you know, makes them feel good too about possibly stopping by and talking to us.
Isn't that fantastic?
And it doesn't give them that impression that we're trying to sell them or trying to force them to come to the
Right.
open house, but we're, you know, giving
You
back.
really are coming from contribution. And the ones that step up, you know, you get a bonus of getting their phone number, so. And you'll know where they live because they're gonna have you stop by and pick up the.
So we have the bags and we have the flyer, and then we have an open house flyer
Okay.
inside the bag with our business card, so they're not getting off.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
What's that bag?
Little grocery bag, it's like a paper grocery bag.
Okay.
So we staple the food drive flyer on the front of it with our information, and then on the inside, we put our open house flyer with our business card.
All right, so then we're gonna connect. We're gonna, like we've been talking about this morning, it's all about establishing that relationship. And then we wanna close them for the appointment, either to come over and look at their house, to have them come in for a buyer's consultation, or to go list their house. And then after we even close, we wanna continue. Maybe they're not ready to list or buy, but we want to cultivate them for when they are ready. Or we close the deal and then we don't want them to forget about us. So we're going to continue to cultivate that relationship because does anybody know what the National Association of Realtors statistics are on once they use a realtor, if they use a
56%.
How many?
I think it's 56%.
56? That might be high, my hair.
I thought it was like 20. I thought it was like 20 or 15%.
I think it's the lower.
No, it went up.
It went up?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Okay.
It's a little higher, maybe in the 40s, but I don't believe it's.
Still 40 or 56%. That means almost half the people that use their realtor for that transaction are not going to use it. And why do you think that is?
Poor service.
Poor service?
They don't follow.
No follow
You
up?
don't think so?
So I think it probably has to do with, what it's saying, probably natural. Keep it in touch.
Well, that's kind of what yeah, just like lack of follow-up.
I got a prime example. A house I just listed this week has been listed by 3 different agents in the last 5 years. So,
And what did they say was the reason that they were letting you list the house?
oh, I follow up. I knocked on their door. I called them. I sent them an email, and I sent them 2 cards.
James is very, very good at following up. And that gets you deals. That's good. You know, I guess I didn't tell you who I was. I just showed up and started talking. I'm Marla Good, and I have been in real estate for 15 years, almost, 15 years. I started out here locally with another company, and then I went on my own. I had my own company for 8 years. Then I got kind of restless. I wanted to think bigger, and so I started interviewing all the real estate companies, and I met Carolyn. And she was actually late for our meeting, so this guy came in. His name was like something like Ron Wexler or something like that. I didn't really know who he was at the time, but he spent like 30 minutes talking to me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't even talked to Colleen yet, and I'm ready to sign out. It's like so excited about this place. And so that's been 5 years ago now that I've been with Keller Williams. I love it. I've been able to double my business since I've been here. I've been married to the same man for 38 years. We have 4 amazing children, 6 grandkids on the way. So just a little bit about me. And I love real estate. I do it full time. I did it full time since I started. When I started, I just started 100%. And my husband helped me through those first struggling 5 years. Kind of some people are blessed, and I didn't have Keller Williams. If I had Keller Williams Ignite when I first started, I probably wouldn't have had the 5 struggling. That's a, you know, if you had anything you regret about when I took Ignite 5 years ago, I'm like, and I'd already been doing it for 10 years. I'm like, why didn't, who could have told me this? This is like amazing. If you do everything in this Ignite class, you guys, you are gonna cap out in 6 months and be on your way to a multi-million-dollar business. And it's real. You will really have a wonderful life with real estate. Just don't give up. Keep, consistent in what you do. And look at everybody in here. There's always somebody to go to. You don't have to figure everything out on your own. Be willing to ask people. Be willing to give out of what you know to other people. Always be willing to help people, and your business just happens. So I just want to encourage you in that today. So, all right, yes.
Just for our record, so NAR says 69% of sellers use their same agent again.
Okay. Of sellers. Okay.
And then for buyers, it says that it's like at 78%.
Still use the same agent?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has gone up. That is a lot higher than it was. Before, I think we were down, like James said, in 20 or below, which was pretty amazing. So keep with your consistent connecting with those people, because you want to be asking for referrals throughout the whole process. That when they're excited, oh my goodness, they just got under contract, that is the best time to get a referral, because they love you. They want to help you. They're going to tell everybody about you. If you don't ask, they're not thinking. They're not just going to think, oh yeah, I got to get her a referral. Ask them so that they start thinking about it. They might know right at the moment of someone, but because you ask them, and to be thinking about it, and if you tell them up front, okay, you're meeting with the buyer's person, and I just want to let you know throughout the process, periodically, I'm going to be asking you for referrals. So I want you to start thinking about it now. Maybe once a week, if you don't mind, I'm going to bring it up. Maybe you thought of somebody this week that you didn't think of last week. Great. See, so you've already programmed. You're going to be asking them every week for a referral. So they're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, Merle's going to be asking me for a referral again this week. It is something. If you tell them, like if you say you're going to love it, they're probably going to. You are not going to like that place over there. They already go in with this attitude, they're not going to like it. So if you tell them ahead of time what to do and expect, it's amazing. They do it. It's shocking.
I want to say I got a client off of Facebook.
Okay.
On my Facebook. They live in the neighborhood, and they were moving from a rental home to a house. One of the gals, it's a gay couple. One of the gals worked at Christ Hospital.
Okay.
I asked for referrals, I've now sold 5 houses.
Oh,
Before the ICU.
wow.
So I think I have to hit another department.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
That's one of my goals, yeah, so yeah, just keep
Ask and
asking.
you shall receive.
Yeah, awesome, yeah.
Thinking you. All right, so we're gonna capture, the goal of the database is to capture as many, people as we can and turn them into maps. So what's the difference between a met and a not met? Okay, so, you know, some people know you by face, other people, if you saw them in the grocery store, they're gonna know your name. And, you know, we wanna start with those, we wanna get more than just face recognition, we wanna get name recognition. And that they know what to do. So you've kind of been working on that in the last couple of sessions, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How can we connect with people?
Phone, text, email, however they like to be.
Okay. Ever how they like to common interest? All right, page 18, what kind of questions? There's questions on there. Can you think of any other questions that you could ask to connect? What are some of your favorite questions? Like these questions on how to connect. Is there other questions that you use that are favorites that get you to have them open up into a conversation to connect? Find out information.
How you meet them.
Right.
I mean, eventually, you get to the point where you just know what you can't just.
Exactly, and that's what we're doing.
Get that multiple ways of
So, some of the questions are, if you would, please tell me a little bit about your family. That sounds like a script.
Just a little.
Get up there and say it. That really sounds like a
But there is a way to say it. Oh, wow. Do you have kids?
I do.
That's so different than tell me a little bit about your family. You know, are your kids in any sports events or, you know, just.
You gotta be careful out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Kids and family and stuff.
yeah. I'm just saying if you're in the grocery store and you're in line and you're not even talking about real estate and you bring it up, it's a way to connect to get to a conversation.
Oh, you always want to be interested, more interested than you are interesting.
That is good. Write that down. I'm serious. That is.
And that's something that's really important to remember, like when you're in appointments, it's easy, like I'm primarily a listing agent. And so it's very easy when you're in a listing appointment and you see something in your house that you're like, oh, wow, your kids play football. And then you ask them about football and then they ask you and all of a sudden you're telling them all about, you know, yeah, tell them about your son who's say that out again. So you always want to be more interested than interesting. Yeah.
I love that. That's fucking good.
Ron taught me that one too. Because he'll tell us, he'll tell the story about the time he was on the appointment and found fish on the wall. And talked a lot about how he loved to fish and blah, blah, blah. And then a few weeks ago, he was listening. And that wasn't why, but it's just you have to just remember that.
But he did ask the guy. And he said, if I could ask you why I didn't get the listing. And he said, well, I know you're a great fisherman, but I didn't know if you were a great listing agent, so I went with another agent.
So you get that balance of you want to develop the rapport, but the rapport basically wants to all be about them.
How many in here do script practice? Have you already supposed to have a script partner in here? You do it. In the first 2 sessions, is that one of the assignments to get a script partner?
No.
Okay, so I really accountability partner.
Yeah.
Okay, So maybe you could take it one step further this week with your accountability partner, and you know what, spend 5 minutes each on each side, you 5 minutes and them 5 minutes. And pick one of the scripts that we've been going over, and you don't have to do anything else, but at least read it to each other out loud. Okay, if you don't have a script partner or accountability partner, come up here on one of the breaks or at the end, give me your name, and we'll get a list of everybody who doesn't have one, and we'll assign you each one. And because it makes a difference, even if you sit in your office by yourself and read the script out loud, it makes a total difference. You said it with your own mouth, and something happens. You can start imagining yourself saying it. And the more and more and more you do it, the more it changes. And when you're hearing them, like I script practice with somebody pretty regularly, and I love how I grow so much because we are honest with each other. We tell each other when, if you would maybe say it this way instead, you know, I think that would be better. Or, you know, suggestions on both sides. And then by hearing them, you think, oh my goodness, I love the way they said it. And you know, when you're saying it to somebody, you feel how the person's gonna feel when you're saying it to them. Like, you can either, like when you're saying it, you can, like I just said, that sounds like a script. You know, you want to practice on each other, so when you go out and, I'm getting distracted with the phone. Sorry.
You're not practicing.
You're not practicing. If anybody does have phone calls, if you could just take them outside the room. Okay. Hey, Jim, if you get a phone call, just, if you just want to take it outside the room, that goes for everybody. Just, you know, while you're doing your phone call, but it would be distracted. All right, so yeah, let's do that as a takeaway. Always be more interested than being interested. Jack Tracy, I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, then we're gonna close. We're gonna ask for the deal. We're gonna ask for the referral. We're gonna tell them we're gonna ask them every week for a referral. You know, if you don't ask, you won't get it. Like salespeople go out, if they never ask for the deal, more than likely they're not gonna get whatever it is they're selling for. Same goes with the real estate agent. We need to ask for the deal. I think these are interesting and worth going over. Let's just start going around the room on page 19. And would you read number 1 and 2, 3, just what it is and then how to say it? Oh, you don't have it. Yeah, just read 1 and then okay.
Number 2 is soft close. I really enjoyed visiting with you. When would you like to get together to discuss the direct close?
Indirect close. Would it be okay if I got some information to look over and then we can meet to discuss? The trial close. I think you'd agree that we've gone over enough today. That we would be our next step.
You sound good. It sounds like we should meet. I'm available most times, so we'll discuss with you.
And I got the positive club. Would you be offended if I asked you to go over this?
To take it back close. I really enjoyed visiting with you. To be honest, I'm not sure if I can be involved or not, but I would be honored if we could meet to find out.
Tied down close. Wouldn't it make sense for us to meet in the next day or so?
The alternative choice was what works better for you today. Be great.
Wow, there is a lot of ways to close. And everybody's personality is going to draw you to maybe 1 or 2 of those questions. And how many times should you close when you're with a person? 7, 5, as many as it takes.
Yeah.
All right, so I have heard
Get rid of my
in
list.
some of the Keller News classes, close 5 times. So you could easily say 5 of those, you know, and it wouldn't even sound pushy, because those are so easy to talk about. Yes,
So do you do a lot of cold calling?
I do not at this time.
Well, I was just gonna ask you, because when you get on a phone with like a stranger and you go up to like a hard close, a lot of them are like, first of all, they don't trust you. And then they're like, oh, I gotta ask my husband, we'll think about it, I gotta go, I'm nervous, right? So, I don't know like which one of these is best on the phone, but like, I feel like more like, I'm trying to think, but I was thinking more like indirect one. You don't want to come on too strong. So I don't know what you guys' experience is, but if anybody has a recommendation, I'd love to hear it.
I
Who
felt,
wants to know, does anybody have a recommendation?
I send them a card, and I know when they say they got to talk to their wife or whatever else, I always say, all right, well, cool. You mind if I follow up with you in a day or two and see, you know, whatever. And so usually it's a little more.
Do they actually pick up?
Oh yeah.
Okay, sometimes they'll just not pick up.
Well, you just move on.
Yeah.
1,000 people, millions of people out there to call.
Can I say something? Usually when you get to that point, you get rejection like that, it's something you didn't recognize in the beginning.
Right.
They got you to that point, so you need to realize that you get better with this, you're gonna realize what steps you need to take. Everything steps, you're getting a different. Every client you call, and if you're getting a bunch of, let me call my wife, it's like when you go to a store and somebody asks you right away, what can I help you with? I'm just looking, you don't wanna waste your time. So you gotta recognize that, and you gotta, when you're doing this, as you get better, you need to overcome those objections. Like a Ray Pulse, you know that, I've heard, I've known her for a while, right? Everyone's saying they're so good at it, it's because we went through these things, during college.
Okay.
There was steps that you recognize, and it's like a fight, you're like, okay, I'm losing it, why? And you have to ask a question, bring that to you. So it's an arsenal to be able to combat.
Right, and if you can go to Rick's objection handler class, that is really good. It helps with this too. Once you learn like a whole bunch of different scripts, they're interchangeable. And you can use this out of that one, and then this out of that one, and then this out of that one. And it's all sounds natural because you internalized it. So the more that you can practice the scripts, and they do get together here every day, I think.
Sometimes, you use it, I'm not sure.
But you know what? If you guys wanted to, you could all just show up and script practice together. It doesn't have to be set and organized. Just get together in the kitchen, you know, and script practice.
We do have database warriors, and for that's only every Tuesday.
Okay.
So we script practice before we actually start calling on our database.
Okay. So let's do a little exercise. And we're going to talk about our sphere of influence. And who is our sphere of influence? Our contacts?
I have a question about that, because my database is in MLS.
Okay.
And you know, you can choose active, not active, sphere of influence, ask client.
But that's not actually your database. That's the people that you work with.
No, I'm moving everybody.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
gonna do so that I can see her.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my, what, for now. But to me, sphere of influence is more the people who are really going to refer you out, or who do refer you out.
Okay.
Not that, and that's my question, basically. So is your sphere of influence everybody in your database, or is it the ones who really?
What do you offer?
I know they're your big whales, but.
Your sphere of influence. Who is your sphere of influence?
Are they the Mets?
I don't know. What's the Mets, the people you've met.
Oh, Mets.
No, your sphere is going to be the people that you have influence with in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be even a great friend, but it's got to be a trusted advisor or somebody that you have confidence in, and they have confidence in you, and they're going to refer business your way.
I think for me, this is my sphere. It's just people you touch. Just, you know, when I go to the bank, that's my sphere. My tellers who I see all the time, or I mean, it's just people research on a daily basis, you just kind of put that list together.
Right, Ignite Truth database is anyone you know, love, and trust that you may do business. And it's as simple as that. So it could be all of these things. It's who you think is in your sphere. So what we're going to do is we're going to take page 22. Does everybody have it, or do you need it? How many need it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me grab 4 copies. Let's see. Yeah, I can get them right quick. Hold that. Who else needs one? And did I get everybody? Okay, so we are going to time this, and there is a prize. We're going to write down, now there's different headings to give you ideas of where you're going to think of your sphere. We're going to do 10 minutes, and then you're going to write down as many people as you can think of that are in these categories. Okay, so ready, go. Yeah, names. Names under each one. We're actually only going to do it for 5 minutes. 1 minute. If you're having trouble on page 21, the one before it had a bunch of other categories that you can think of names. So, pens down, count up your, people that you thought of and, tell me how many had over 20? Okay, over 25? 30? 35? 40? 45?
Slow down.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
At the counter.
Hold on. We're up to 45. 50?
I got 61.
61. Anybody over 61? 65. 65. What about you two? Seven?
Oh, my God.
Did you have over 70? Jackie, no. We got a winner. You're gonna get to go home and make cookies. Thank you. Gotta have a little fun. All right, so what did that feel like? Did you learn anything? What were the ahas about just dumping as many people as you know on a piece of paper?
Well, it's a reality check that you're not connecting with the people that you look and connect with every day. Yes.
Wow.
To make them, yes, you know.
That is so
Go to the
good.
grocery store. Yeah. Put a, Sam's Club baby, and you see these people every day.
Reality check, she said.
Yeah.
You're not connecting with the people that you really know.
Yeah, that's kind of agree with her because I'm looking like at the hairstylist, nail tech. I'm like, I see these people all the time and I'm not really like making it known. Like I guess it's still real estate, but just like bringing forth to that. And then the people I see at church, I see them every week, twice a week. And think about that.
I've heard some of the agents say now they're established in real estate. And so if they go to the hair cutting place, I'm just giving an example, and they're using another real estate agent to do all their deals, they're gonna move to where they get their hair. Because they wanna work with people that are also giving them referrals. So, but they're not even gonna know you're in real estate if you don't have a conversation with them. You gotta connect with these people, okay? I am, and anybody else have an aha, they want to share it? Yes. Okay. So she realized there's even groups that she's missing, like she has no teachers. So, you know, that could give you an avenue to look into maybe something you could join that maybe some teachers are in to expand the way that you get business. I love this next video. This is the one I was telling you about that I watched 5 times. It's called Cold Calling with the Real Estate Brothers. And you know what I loved about this is it was like, these are normal guys that made me feel like I could do this business. So we are gonna watch and see. Is it coming up? Uh-oh. Yeah. I thought I'd drag it to the right, but does anybody know how?
Try it, well, your arrow showed up. So
It did show up? Okay, well,
Yes.
maybe I just didn't let it go up.
There you go.
Okay. It says,
Click the max.
okay, good idea.
Now drag.
Now drag.
Maybe you need to minimize out of the PowerPoint.
Okay.
This page.
Okay, so minimize out of here. Out of the slide view?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about if I show it on this thing? Can you guys all see it from here? Would that work? Can everybody see it? And what? Your stand?
This is a stand.
That's what I'm
All right, hopefully we can hear it. You can't see it, right? I can hear it. Hold on, let me move this cord up. Yes?
Here. She didn't play it yet.
Yeah.
She didn't play it.
I'm gonna play it. It better be good after all this, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Garrett, let me, okay, hold on.
Is Kyle on?
Let's talk about something else until, can somebody go get me Barb?
Is that
Or you
speaker,
think you
those
can-
speakers are off.
They're on.
There you go.
Did that one come on?
Well, nice. We had a decent business that wasn't growing. We did a lot of door knocking originally, but what we found was with bad weather, plus you have to drive to door knock.
All right, so let's get this. watched this 5 times. So, I mean, I want you to see it because there is so much in it. And you probably will want to jot down a couple things that are impactful to you. I've been doing it, even my hair is that easy. Mine asked me if I did cold calling. This is talking about cold calling. This made me think, oh my goodness, I can do cold calling. You know, it just, sometimes what some people say to you open up your world. And be ready that when it does happen, that you will, brilliant.
So I'll say,
Okay.
Oh, praise God.
Okay.
where we're from, and then you can approach. Is that all right? Hi, my name is Dylan Provenche.
I'm Sean Provenche.
We're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're the Real Estate Brothers.
2014, we wrote 72 transactions for $47 million.
Sean and I are very lucky because we're actually fairly entrepreneurial in sales. So we were able to just sort of survive by luck and by just sort of being likable and nice.
We had a decent business that wasn't growing.
We did a lot of door knocking originally, but what we found was with bad weather, plus you have to drive to door knock, it was just too much of a wild card.
If we were to grow the business, we needed to add people to our database, and if we were going to do that, we needed a systematic way that we knew we could achieve results that were predictable. So we just kind of started cold calling
about 3 hours a day, and we found that the results were phenomenal.
So take a look, we're doing this full time.
We can literally do it from here.
This is more time effective.
Yeah.
If you're cheap like we are, you don't want to spend a ton of money on the web or on print. Telephone lines, you pay a monthly bill and you can call all you want. 1 year coming here, we're straight to cold calling. We got a map where we've broken the entire city into zones. We like to target areas where we have buyers.
It's been scrubbed for the do not call list, and it still represents over 250,000 phone numbers.
All of our desks have 3 monitors. We have Mojo in the middle, we have our scripts on the right, and then on the left.
Do some research on the heads they're calling for, stuff like that. Cold calling is like adding chemicals to the car or something. Like it pumps your business up. We went from making, what was our first year, like 70K, and then this year together we did $1.1 million. So this is Sean calling from the Real Estate Brothers. You know what I'm so sorry about these days, but I just noticed that you have to treat cold calling as though it's an appointment. If you don't prioritize it, things will always find their way in and block you from being able to do it. It's the most important thing to do for your business.
Absolutely most important, and you have to quantify it as well. The bold 100 contacts a week is a really, really cool way
to set a bar
and get started and stay tuned, whatever your decision.
I was just wondering, is there any change in your plans? Are you still thinking this spring?
You can't think today was a bad cold calling day because today doesn't matter. What matters is what you accomplish in a year. And if you just keep adding people to your database and systematically follow up with them and take care of the people who you work for, you'll do great.
You're not always going to have great success every day, but it's by doing it every day that you have great success.
We're going to be in the neighborhood for the next 2 weeks getting free evaluations. You know what I'd love to do?
I'll say too that one thing that we were afraid of, and I think everyone is just the rejection side of things. People being mean to you on the phone and rude. We have the same with our team, that you're either part of our future or part of our past, and either way it's fine. The people who are rude to us are obviously not going to be part of our future.
Have a chuckle about it. Like honestly, when someone passes at me or something, I just laugh because it's funny.
You think it will make things interesting?
The more time you spend not on the phone, you're losing money because that 3 hours of my day is my 20% where I make my money.
Don't get ready to start thinking about how you're going to eventually do something. Just do it. Like
just do it. Stop watching this video. Go start dialing numbers. Just get on the phone.
And if you hate money, don't do it.
I love it. I like that their average price point was $650,000.
Yeah.
That's a Canadian though, that's probably only like 400,000.
So just think, you guys could be selling way more than they do. You know, you might not be making as much because like she said, it's 600,000. But what were some of your ahas or takeaways from that video? Just do it.
The quote that I wrote down is, you won't have success every day, but by doing it every day, you will have success. So there's going to be something that's
I block it. You know, and it's something, you know, try to really keep that time block and really treasure that. And you have to move it in the calendar. So don't just run it over, but move it. So if you have a closing, you have to go to an appointment and this is going to make you move your agenda.
So she's making it such a priority that she's moving everything else to be able to do this. It's good. Yes.
One thing that I found is that when we talk about fear, I think most people fear are talking to people that you know, because you're worried so much about what am I saying, am I sounding too much like a script? And if you try some cold calling, yeah, I mean, you don't even know what these people look like. It's really great practice. If they screw up, if they swear at you, whatever, like it really doesn't matter. And you'll find that I think a lot of strangers can be really very nice to you. And we're so worried that our friends and everybody are going to judge us and, oh, she's calling me business. And, you know, I get some like the nicest, like I always say, I connect with the old guys, you know, because they're like, oh, yeah, we're so nice. So I've got all these like old men out there that love when I call them, you know, and I think you'll get over a lot of your fears and you'll get on the phone then with people that you know, because you won't be as concerned about it.
Yeah,
So you have
very
those fears.
very
Strangers, they're strangers, who cares, right?
Right. So, any other comments about that or stuff that you liked? I listened to it 5 times, so I was honing in on what were they saying on the phone when they were cold calling. And I did pick up a couple things that, hey, we're gonna be in your neighborhood in the next 2 weeks, and we're doing 3 home evaluations.
It's huge.
That is
I want to
very,
hit myself in the head if I could call calling all week. I'm like, she can only offer that.
yeah,
Why is it
that,
hard?
I wrote that down, just because I listened to it a couple more times with you guys. And the other one, has there been any change in your real estate plans here? Which I thought was very good. So evidently they've already talked to that person once, or twice, or 3 times. And they're checking in, and there's not supposed to be going on anything in their real estate, but has anything changed? So I thought that was good. And I liked how the one guy said that the more time you're not spending on the phone, you're losing money, because your lead gen, that is the 20% of your business. That's where 80% of your money is going to come from, is you out getting leads. So that was really very good, I thought. And again, it's not what you did today, it's what you accomplished in 1 year. So don't get derailed by just one meltdown or one bad day, because we're all going to happen. And breakdown always happens right before breakthrough, so allow yourself to happen. All right, so that's the time blocking 3-3. So we're doing 3 hours with these 3 systems. We're preparing who we're going to call. We're taking action. We're going to start prospecting to them. We're going to update the database, because did you hear the tall one say 3 times about systematically connecting with those people? He said it 3 times during the video. Is like we were saying earlier, it's not just having so many people in your database that you're not doing anything with. It's if you only have 25, hey, practice on the 25 to systematically connect with them. Are you sending them an email every month? Doing the 33 touch, start them out on an 8x8, the 33 touch. There's classes that you can take every month here that's going to teach you how to do those programs. The 8x8s, the 36 touch, or it's 38 now, I guess. 12x12. You know, what do you say to those people? There's a whole program. It's already in eEdge. You can just set them up on a different campaign. So if you start out when you only have 25, it's so much easier than waiting till you have 250 and then have to go through all 250 and then do it for every single person. Start out, you know, use this time if you're, how many new agents, brand new agents in the last 6 months? So quite a few. Don't despise that you're just starting. Use that as a time to start out right and make it easier. Okay, so. We're even back on the Okay, so now we're gonna watch another video about finding these.
Lead generation is your #1 job.
How do I get back up there? I know you did it. And yes. Oh, drag the whole thing.
You have started by calling your Mets your sphere of influence. You have even reached out via social media. But what do you do when you run out of contacts? Where can you find more leads? There are many places you can find additional prospecting opportunity.
Can't help you with that.
You know, I forgot, and I apologize. Does anybody need a break? Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Think about your
while it's
children's
buffering,
sporting
and then we'll
events
play
or
it as soon as we
activities.
get in. I apologize, I didn't think of it. And we only have an hour left. Can I decide what I'm gonna do?
I can tell, man, you're moving around like that.
Well, I've got never-ending referrals. It starts at 11, so I'm going
Okay.
down to Val's office.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want him to take with you? What's your name? Jose, would you like? Okay. Pudding, oatmeal, fruit snacks, pudding. Okay, I'm sorry. Nothing healthy in there. I can't even eat it. Thank you. Sure.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. Yes, spoons are in there, right here. There's a spoon right here.
What would you like?
Nothing for later?
Okay, are you gonna kill all you have or not yourself today? You need some
There should be. In the, check back here in this kitchen.
Huh? See, I'll check. I'll let you know. Thank you.
All right, we got one more minute.
Yeah. I'm just. Okay. Thank you.
This is part of what we do, and I was able to do it.
Would you like some? You can have some. All right, so we only have 54 minutes left, and we want to really get into different ways to find business. So we're going to talk a little bit about all the different ways, and you might even think of a way that nobody else has thought of yet that you can share with the class. So we're excited about that. And it all, whatever way that you find works for you is what you should do. Like, you know, some people say you have to do this or that or that. What is it that you are passionate about that you could use to get you leads? That's where you want to go to. Like, you know, some people love the elderly. So they go to all of these things that people that are going to be moving into like assisted living and they have to sell their houses, they cater to that clientele. Other people, they do it only open houses like Dan Kenny. You know, his 90% of his business is just from doing open houses. Other people, they do expireds and for sale by owners. There are so many different ways to find business, and they say that you should have 4 different ways that you find business. Some people have 1, some people have 6. You know, are you gonna do a farm? You love the subdivision. If you love the subdivision, you would love to be the agent in that subdivision, you need to do a little bit of homework first to find out, is somebody else already got market share in that subdivision? Because if you're putting a ton of money in that subdivision and they already got market share, you're probably wasting your money at this time. So we're gonna talk about some of the areas that we can go to. And that is this thing about preparing. You don't just decide one day, I'm going to go after businesses, and you just go out. You take the time, just like in your 3 hours a day for lead gen, you prepared who are you going to call that day. And you know what, you don't have to call just one lead source that day. You can say, okay, between 9 and 10:50, I'm gonna call expireds. Then I'm gonna take a 10-minute break. Then from 11 to 11:50, I'm gonna call for sale by owners. Or 30-minute segments. Then I'm gonna take a 10-minute break. Then from 11 to 12, I'm gonna call all my follow-ups from the people that I called the week before, or the day before, the week before, whatever. Or the clients that you have working with right now that need assistance. So if you know that you have time locked for 15 minutes to call this type of people, and you know who those people are, you are gonna get through so many more people that way. Than if you go there, okay, let's see. Where's their phone number? Oh shoot, I think it's in the stack paper. You know, you're not gonna get a lot done. And trust me, I'm telling you this from experience, okay? And when you can have your leads lined up of who you're gonna call the next day, and then boom, you can get through, you know, so many more than if you just go in blind. You know, prepare, use that time to prepare so that you're organized. So we can call, oh, one thing I want to say, after you've made your calls, if you don't systematically put them in your database or make a note in your database about what you talked about, you know, is the call going to be worth a lot if you just call and then never follow up again? Because the fortune is in the follow-up. So that's what he was talking about. Systematically continue to cultivate that relationship. Cultivate what you talk about. You know, put on there if you've got a list, you talked about this today. Oh yeah, so is so's cousin. Well, if you go out your day, you might forget about the cousin and never call them because you didn't put it into a system that, hey, I'm going to call that person at this time. You know, make sure you don't, you're losing so much money because I've done it, you know, by forgetting and not putting it into some kind of system. So that is part of your 3 hours that you're going to do, or 2 hours, whatever you're committing to each day. You prepare, you take the action, and then you cultivate, I'll call it. You're putting in your database, whatever you're going to do with that lead. And that's how you're going to keep track of them. And then once you get them into a system, hey, I told that person I'm going to call them in 2 months. So go to your calendar, put it in that day, call so-and-so. So when you get to that day, you can pull it up. Hey, I said I was going to call these 12 people. So right there, you've already got it in your calendar of part of what you're going to do. Yes?
When was the best time to call? Because normally during the days, everyone is at work.
Well, the best time for you to call is when you get on the phone. Because some people work early, some people work late. Now, I mean, in etiquette, You usually don't call before 7 or 8 in the morning. Not, I mean, 8 I feel like is safe, but a lot of people call expired for sale by owners even earlier. And then some people, you don't call after 9. Absolutely not. But anytime during that time is the best when you're gonna do it. Because you can always use that mind game, oh, this isn't good. And then you just got beat out of somebody else who thought it was good. And they got the lead.
Even if you leave a message, they can call back if it's
And I heard somebody say this the other day is, it was early and they didn't wanna like ding somebody's phone or call, so they sent an email. And told them everything they wanted and said, hey, I'm gonna be calling you at 9. So if they were up and saw it, they got that interaction, and sometimes they would call them back before 9. But otherwise, they got it in there, and then when they call at 9, say, oh, hey, did you get my email this morning? You know, so I thought that was really kind of good. I hadn't heard that.
I'm thinking of doing this is a new year, the whole database and whole event program, is when I call everybody to make sure I have the right phone number, email, everything. I want their birthdays, their anniversaries, all that. I'm gonna ask them what's the best window of time to call them, and if I can separate them into morning, afternoon, and evening,
That's brilliant. And I also like to ask when I'm starting to work with the client, what's your favorite method for me to contact you? Would you like me to call you with everything? Do you like text, emails? What's your favorite format?
Can I add something? I used to do it, and I always put the time on your phone call, you call somebody. You get a lot of negative, but you don't get a lot of people's accounts right away, so you get a little disheartened. You put a time and you notice that you're calling between 9 and 10, they're not actually trying to be aware of that, because you're not gonna get a lot of, you're not gonna get a lot of answers every time.
And to do that, you got to pay attention to those leads and cultivate it. You gotta write that stuff down. So that's very good. You gotta track it.
I just started calling this week on Saturday, and I got way better response.
Really?
Yeah, because if you try to call me before I was real, if you try to call me in the morning when I'm on my way to work, I can just, I'm like, man, I've gotta sit in the city traffic, I don't need to talk to somebody who I don't know. That would be my mindset then. But Saturday, people are chill, they're relaxed, they're like, hey, you know, it is a better attitude.
That's very creative.
You're more at ease.
I've even heard some people say they'll text a person before they call them because it's not like totally invading their space. They text them first with kind of a prelude of something, of what they want to get them to engage, and then even ask for permission to have a phone call.
There was a Facebook joke about that with millennials. Oh my God, if we can call me, then you can text me first to say they can call.
Oh.
So when I do my buyer consults, I say, what's the best form of
Yeah.
Because the millennials, they want to text.
So we've got referrals we can call. We have our sphere to call, for sale by owners to call, leads from sign calls. Neighbors of just listed, so if you see a sign and it doesn't have to be your sign, another company just puts up a sign. You could go on the Cole directory, pull up the names of everybody around that listing and say, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but 123 Main Street just came on the market. And I was wondering if you know of anybody that wants to move to the area. You don't even have a listing, but you're showing up as the real estate professional, showing that you're ready to help them if they know it. Expired or withdrawn listing. What's the difference between expired or withdrawn?
They didn't hit the time where it expired. They instead prematurely took out market and chose no more coverage.
Right, so they canceled it.
They canceled it.
Okay. And why do you think people cancel their listing?
I asked them that somebody calls. Sometimes they're like, none of your business. Other times, well, we were gonna move my daughter and her husband. You know, there's always like some other personal reason sometimes.
And sometimes they're just mad at the agent that had it.
Or yeah, or like this guy was.
What is an allied resource? That's somebody we could call. What is an allied resource? I'm sorry.
A vendor that you're friends with that you use all the time.
A vendor that you're friends with that you use all the time. That's very good. Somebody, it could be somebody that, okay, so you're in real estate, so people that buy houses and sell houses, they have questions about, you know, everything really. I mean, who's gonna replace my door? You know, any question about a house. If you could get a plumber, an electrician, a garage door guy, a drywall guy, anything that you're gonna deal with in housing, and you could go to them and say, you know, I'm putting together a list of people that I can give to my clients, that if they have questions about this or they're gonna need this, would you mind being on my allied resource preferred vendor list? How do I get on that? I mean, they're so excited that you're gonna actually give them a referral, you know, and then while you're doing it, well, you know what, do you know anybody that needs to buy or sell a home right now too? Because you're gonna help them, and then, you know, there's nothing wrong with you asking them, is there anybody that they know that could help you?
Also too, with the allied resources, we always have to remember that we're most likely not going to be the only person that they refer. There are going to be people asking them, so if you sort of put it that, you know, I'd like to be one of your top referral agents.
That's really good.
So, because if you say, you know, when like you refer me or who do you know, and you make them feel like, oh, they're gonna want me to refer everybody, but if you just let them know, I'd like to, you know, I'd really like to be one of your top agents that you refer, it sort of lets them off the hook a little bit, lets them know that you're expecting something in return like that.
And you may even want to reciprocate that when you're telling them, would you want to be one of my plumbers, so that you aren't making them feel like it is exclusive. What if you have 2 or 3 you want to recommend? So I like that. That's really Where are you guys' prospecting opportunities coming from right now? So you're calling your Sphere database people you know. So did you all hear that? He's thinking about getting with the accountant and talking about, as they're meeting everybody for tax season, would there be a way they could work together so he could get the referral? That's very good. What other ways are you guys getting your prospecting leads right now? Yes.
Mine has been actually, oh God, I'm sorry. Mine has been a little different because, believe it or not, like the last 12 leads I've gotten, they came to me. They were like friends that saw that I got into a real estate, and they were like, I want to use you for that real estate.
That's great.
So I haven't really had to go out and look yet. They're coming to me. This is good.
That's very good. You always want those. And then, those are people you don't even have to go out. They're gonna come find you. But we always want to be proactive while we're waiting, you know, to increase our business as much as we can.
Okay, so you're doing that?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if it was stretching it, but I was also hearing about biotech on TV and stuff. And the flip side of the work,
Totally a source of yes. There are some people that they get most of their business from. And what he was saying, in case you didn't hear it in the back, is divorce attorneys, because they're probably selling the house they live in together, and then they're each gonna want to get a house. So that's a very good source of prospecting.
I ask the attorneys I work with, I've gotten referrals from them, and my home inspectors, and my
Yep, asking for referrals from the people. That's right.
You're of course gonna send them more than you, but at least
Yeah.
they give you something.
So, who in here door knocks? James, Jackie, Kim, Roberta. Did I say that?
Yes.
All right, and you're on Dan's Kenny's team, right? What's your name? Katie. Katie? Okay. All right, wow, so we have some, good door knocking. Now, are you door knocking, because of open houses or because you've established a farm that you're going door knocking at?
Mainly we do it for open houses, so we do it either the day before or the morning of. And just do like 20 houses and invite them to the open house.
Okay.
It's a really easy script.
Okay.
You're getting.
All right, anybody else that door knocks outside of open houses?
New listings.
New listings, tell us what you say to a new listing.
Hi, we just want to let you know there's this home right down the street from you. Tell them what you say, ask a little bit about it, and just say, who do you know that would like to be your neighbor, that you should be talking to.
That's very good. And just like Kim said, some will be amazingly nice and others don't want to give you the time of day, and it's probably something else bad just happened and they just want to take it on you at the moment, so don't take it personally. Always have something that you can offer the people, like if you're going out door knocking, a piece of information that maybe you've researched that subdivision. How many houses sold in the last 30 days? How many are on the market? What's the average price of the house? Find out useful pieces of information that are true. Don't make something up, but take that out with you. Maybe have something that you printed out. Average days on the market for this subdivision are, people don't know that stuff. And if they weren't maybe interested, but wow, you mean stuff is selling in 13 days? That gets them excited. Maybe I can sell my house real quick, or, oh my, I don't want to sell it that quick, or, who knows what they're thinking. But give out different pieces of information that are valuable to people you're going out. There's for sale by owners. Who loves for sale by owners in the room? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Okay. Do you know that the National Association of Realtors says that 90% of all homes that sell are for sale by owner? So, the National Association of Realtors. So, some people can sell their house. We had one lady recently that told us she sold the last 4 houses by herself. She doesn't know how, it just happened, and that's kind of sometimes the way it happens to them. There's a whole system of working with for sale by owners. You could be one that you just fall into the right time in the right space and you catch them and they list with you and you sell it in the first 3 days. Or you might be one that it takes you 30 days, 60 days, 90 days to cultivate a relationship, even to go be able to see the first house. They're just such a big spectrum. But the main idea for sale by owner is you want to get their information. You want to don't show up like I'm gonna list your house. You want to be there, come from contribution. Why do you want to go to the for sale by owner's house?
They want to sell.
Because they want to sell. So why do you want to go? You're a realtor.
Because I can sell it faster for the most amount of money.
Okay, but I don't want you to sell it. I want to sell it by myself. So why do you want to come over?
To make you aware of some of the things you may be missing, like if you're not familiar with the contract, maybe I can help you to have an open house.
Oh, really? You would do that for me?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, see how it changed there once she came from something of contribution? how I was real standoffish and then,
Bring me a buyer.
My name is
Bring me a buyer, I'll pay you 2.5%.
You can say my name is
what were you gonna say, Katie?
I was gonna say, I might have buyers who are interested. I know exactly what they're looking for, and I can give you some ideas to update your home or anything like that.
Okay.
Just look at the pictures online. Like if they're real estate offers, you'll say that, and then they'll say, well, there's pictures online, you don't need to come over. Just bring me a buyer, let me know, give me the time. Like, and I was like, man, I was like, if I had a buyer, I wouldn't bring them these pictures. I told one guy, I was like, if I had a buyer, granted, we talked, I wouldn't want to work with you, and I'd make sure not to show you.
You told them that?
Yeah. He was like, oh my, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. And so he kind of like, he realized like, I don't need you. I don't need you. Like, so he realized that, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude, I just get all these calls, blah, blah, blah.
All different ways they.
I have a sell-by owner, and so, you know, Zillow makes, you know, they make it hard because you have a lot of these different companies that, Bizmo.com and all of those companies that allow them to list, but he wasn't getting any good qualified buyers.
Okay.
And so what he did was he hired a realtor every other month. Like if you didn't sell his house, he'll go to the next realtor, and to the next realtor. He just was asking for too much and in his mind, but yeah, they could be a little different.
What do you guys do? Because a lot of times, like, realtors these days, we just like undercut so much, they'll like tell these people what they want to hear. Because when I call expires, a lot of times though, the one house, they did a $200,000 price reduction in like 2 weeks. I was like, why the hell would they tell you their house is worth that much? They're lying to you just to take all this.
200,000.
It was like horrendous. And so, you know, there's a lot of bad agents that end up turning them off. And most of these for sale by owners, a lot of them are because they were expired and they had a bad experience with a bad agent. Now they're like, well, I saw what they do, I can do that. So a lot of times it's us that are making them do it on their own. That's why you have to be honest. You have to be honest.
And there's a script for that.
That expectation.
I can see why if you've had this bad experience.
Yeah, you're better off, I don't blame you, you're better off selling, trying to sell that on your own than going with another bad agent. I don't want you to be vulnerable to another agent.
The first listing I got was a for sale by owner, and he just was unreasonable about the price. I just told him, I can't help you. Like you can have somebody else that will just take the listing when it said, I can't. I'd rather just walk. So I ended up doing that once he's like, this is what I want on that. I'm like, well, you're not going to show me, so nothing's going to happen at that price. So I just have to do it.
You find that maybe that particular scenario, you get a little more forcing. And kind of not check them the wrong way, but hey, listen, you're going to get people that really want just to waste your time. When you want somebody to tell you the truth, I'm here to do what I'm here to do. And you truthful with them, call me to it, you want to do your house.
Absolutely, because you do want me to tell you the truth, be truthful. I mean, you ask them that question back, you know, well, of course, you know, then it gets you to another question. And I
It also
totally.
saves you 2 or 3 months of arguing.
Yeah.
But I told him exactly that they want. And then just some people, I don't mean to be negative, but some people are just real cheap. And they're like, I really just wanted to make so much money for various reasons. But in his case, he was actually positive. He bought it way less. So it was more or less just greed. So some of these people are just not going.
And you can, you know, study those scripts where you can say, you know, I don't know if you realize this, but the National Association of Realtors says that if you do list with an agent, that you, on the average, will get an extra 17% for your house. So even if you're paying us 6 or 7%, you're still netting 10% more. Would that be worth a conversation for us to have? I think, you know, at this time, maybe I should.
I did all that. I even showed up the market. And to some people, they're just fixated. You can't help. They're just
Yeah, and
not
then you
motivated.
just agree with them and say, you know what, I'll just check in, you know, next week or the week after and see how it's going for you, if you have any questions. Just leave that line of communication open. James is having tremendous success with that. He's, you know, calling him back and getting into the for sale by owners. He's doing a really good job. So we want to get their information, get in an appointment and to see their house. I actually texted a for sale by owner yesterday, because my son is a real estate agent and he was telling me about this client he had. And they've been trying to buy this one house and it's not working out. It's a short sale. And I saw this house on for sale by owner. And I thought, wow, that's kind of what looks just like the one that they're trying to buy. So I forget what I was doing, but I texted him while I was doing something else. And I said, hi, I'm Marla Good with Keller Williams Realty. Noticed that your house was on for sale by owner. Are you planning on any open houses? Because I would love to come preview your house because I might have a potential buyer. And he goes, we are going to have an open house this Sunday. And I said, oh, shoot. I said, I'm going to the boat show, but if I get back in time, I would love to come preview your house. So in the meantime, I'm telling my son about it. And he said, I can take him this Sunday. So he's taking 3 different clients to the for sale by owner's house to go to the open house. And I'm like, man, why didn't I think of that? So he's just gonna wait in the car and then have 3 different appointments. And then we're gonna have the seller sign a for sale by owner one-time, agreement if one of them chooses to buy. But, I mean, there's all different ways to connect with people. That one just happened to work out. I don't really recommend texting first time on time, but it worked out. When their trust, again, like, she was saying, maybe I could help you with any forms or help you with an open house. Focus on them saving the money. You want to show them how you're going to actually save money by listening to the real estate agent. And time, because a lot of the for sale by owners don't realize how much time it's going to take. Ask them questions about the different problems that for sale by owner could have. What's your screening process, for the people that are coming to look at the house? Or, are they pre-qualified? Are you just letting anybody come in, or, what's your procedure? Well, I never thought about that yet, or whatever.
So matters like, yeah, 4 or 5 houses in 9 days, know it on the MLS. Like, they're just like, know it all, and how do you show that you bring value? Like, why do they?
Well, the question I was asked is, how long are you going to be willing to leave it for sale by owner? What's your time frame in moving? I first find out their motivation. And then how long are you willing to leave it on the market before you would consider hiring the right real estate agent? Ask them that because they might have not thought, like, is it gonna take 2 years to sell their house? Because who's gonna buy their house if they're not searching for the exact house? How are they getting the marketing out there for those people? And then I would say, a lot of times if you're getting out of town buyers, they're only in for a day. They're not gonna waste time and look up for sale by owners. They're gonna, the 95% of the houses are on the MLS, so why would they look for other houses outside the MLS? That's the benefit of being listed with a real estate agent, so that we can, make sure your house is one of the next ones that sells, and you do want your house to sell. Get them to agree with you. All right, so what are some of the reasons that homes don't sell? Overpriced.
Marketing, condition, price.
Marketing, condition, price, right. All 3 of those. So that's true. Sometimes you get a listing and you try to call and go show it and you can never get in. Does anybody have that? That's totally frustrating. So we want to, if you're calling expireds, who likes expireds? I know we just talked about for sale by owner. Do you like expireds? Anybody else? So when you call, what are some of the kind of things that you want to look for in an expired?
Well, first of all, I think expired, we see the benefit of a realtor more than a fiscal one. So they were already willing to work with one. I would ask to review their house and then get to know them and make the connection and say, you know, what happened with your last one? What went wrong? What do you feel went wrong?
Right, and find out also when you first call them, did you re-sign with another agent or, you know, and then what are you looking for in the next agent that the agent that you just now had, you know, didn't, I can't think of the word. What is it? Right. So find out where the gap was and then make sure you fulfill that gap. Like if it was communication, you make sure you are gonna communicate, you know, and you tell them what your protocol is for communication on that. Meet in person if you can, and be prepared to do your listing presentation right there if they let you into the house on an expired. Open houses, we got a lot of experts in the room on open houses. What kind of leads do you get from an open house? Buyers and sellers. What was that? Okay. Sometimes you get a buyer and a seller. If they're out looking to buy that, they might have something to sell, so you can get both sides on one person. Maybe you get an investor that all of a sudden they have, they're coming to buy a house, they have 20 houses to sell and they want to buy one. You know, you might get all kinds of leads from an open house. Yes.
I had a lead from a lender that came into my open house and he brought me a gift and he said, if you ever need a good lender, give me a call. He gave me a brown paper bag, just as you did, Zakia, with water and a nature bar and his card and hand sanitizer and a couple other things.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you can even pick up a lender.
Yeah.
Be purposeful when you go to open houses. And it's all about asking the right questions, right? And there's all kinds of methods, you know, like if you can take Dan's class on open houses, he does like 90% of his business with open houses, and he has such a natural way of talking to people that come into his open houses to get answers from them and establish rapport. And so if you can take his class, I think he usually does it like one time a month. Here, make sure you sign up for that because that would be well worth your time. All right, so agent referrals. I thought this was interesting. Now, when I think of agent referrals, I was not thinking the way this said. I mean, I get a lot of agent referrals from out of state that call and want me to, their clients move to the area, and then I pay them 25% referral fee. That's when I think of agent referrals, that is what first comes to my mind, because that's been my experience. But I thought it was interesting here. You could also get agent referrals from other agents that really do not want, they don't have a team. And they love selling houses and listing them, but they don't like to be the buyers. You could get referrals from them. Talk to different agents around that maybe they're doing a good business, but they don't want to show. Maybe you could get a referral from them for doing their buyers. You know, I thought that's brilliant. I mean, I know we even have like different showing agents here in the office. You can sign up to be a showing agent for, there's all kinds of different programs, but you could also talk to agents one-on-one to see, hey, are you too busy to do all your buyers? Is that something that I can help you with, you know, for a referral fee, or, you know, all kinds of ways to get business. It's just, we're trying to, you know, open your mind and maybe one avenue thing, you know, present something that you think of, oh, well, then I could do this, and then I could do this. You know, we're trying to really open our mind to think about where we can do this. Your own company or another company? I would think it would be more so in your own company. But if nobody else is asking those other agents from other companies, and you have a good relationship with them, and you're getting it's their name, but you're doing it for referral, you never know, you might just fall into something big. Social media. Who does a lot on social media? Okay. And what are you finding works on social media? Videos?
Short videos that you want. So I'll make a video on lending or a question, if somebody comes up with a question. For instance, I had someone that wanted to do a deed in lieu. So I was explaining the difference between a deed in lieu and a foreclosure. Told them if they wanted to know more, they can reach out to me. So I made little short videos. Reach out.
Excellent. What else is working for you guys in social media?
Groups and lists.
Groups, what does that mean?
So like Orland Park, buy, sell, and give away for free. If I
Wait, what are you giving away?
giving away anything, but that's the name of the groups. Like there's all kinds of groups that are named like that.
Yes, I get.
Right.
I'm catching on.
I get almost daily people asking about, like, I'll put on there a home that I do an open house for, and I'll say, please join me, blah, 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 and I'll leave it in there until it closes. And like I've got a house that in Kankakee that I did, I don't know, a month ago, and I still get traction from that, and people are asking me about it to go see it.
So you're going to the Orland Park buy and sell.
I'm just generic.
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 You're putting in that you have a house, you're doing an open house, and then you actually keep track of that?
Uh-huh.
So again, you gotta keep track of it.
It makes it,
And
Facebook makes it really
you're
easy.
still getting messages from it.
Yeah. And I'll update it as I need to, but I still get
So the
updates.
fortune again is in the follow-up. You gotta keep up with it. You can't just put it on there and then never look at it. You won't even know who responded. Watch for your likes and stuff like that. We're gonna be out of time. We're gonna do a little exercise on actually posting something to get it going, but we're gonna have to, you'll have to read that and maybe get with somebody on your own and practice how maybe to do that to get some business. So we got social media, we got Facebook, some of the things that you could post on Facebook. What are some ideas?
Your listings, if you go with, price reduction.
Your listings? What else?
If you have a closing, taking a picture with the client and posting it. Oh, how
Real estate
If
staff.
I feel like a lot of people like, do you need anything, call me, or they like, it's annoying to see that, like, it's not creative, you look like you're begging for business. People, you know, non-realtors are like, all right, we get it. Give them something of value, be like, yo, you're from Orland Park, expect your, whatever, your use would decrease if you're planning on selling your life. There's some value there.
Something of value. Neighborhood stats, use pictures, post about events in your neighborhood, congratulate new homeowners, like she said. Engage with maybe a poll or a survey to get people engaged. Anybody using Twitter? You guys use Twitter? Okay, how's that going for you?
Twitter, just get it back.
Okay.
More as much shorter stuff than Twitter.
Short and sweet, okay.
You could just link to something again to information.
So again, this says you can tweet questions, you can tweet about your listing, about staging, moving, local news, charity events, use hashtags, use @ mentions. I don't even know what those are yet. So something I
So, mentions are at Keller Williams, so when they type in ad, it'll go to whatever.
Oh,
So it's direct.
thank you. Okay. Then we got Pinterest. Anybody using Pinterest for Facebook? For real estate? Awesome. And how do you use Pinterest for real estate?
Well, I just noticed that every time someone posts a board, I get, notified, all my friends, so.
Nice.
I put the board
Okay.
with infographics or different statistics.
Latoya, that is smart. I like that. So on Pinterest, set up boards about your listings, about your hobbies, home decor, just to mention a few. Instagram, anybody using Instagram to get business? You are? How do you use Instagram?
I usually just post a while, I post, when I first started, I just post on, announcing that, listing.
Okay.
And then every week, like Auntie said, I put a graph, like chart.
Great.
Or just recently post.
So then do people follow you or how does that work? Okay.
Yeah,
So you get people to
followers,
follow you.
and then I also, there's the hashtag where, with hashtags pertaining to real estate.
Okay.
It also shows up on other searches.
Okay.
So people who are interested in real estate, they'll look and they'll see you on search.
Excellent. That's a whole new world.
It's a millennial. Instagram is like for the younger, but Facebook is more like.
Hashtag, is the thing, and then whatever they say.
When it connects, I'll link it.
Okay, yeah.
And they'll
Oh.
Maybe you can do a class on this.
I'm not an expert in it. I'm not an expert.
One of you guys.
I don't go on social media too much. I do this.
We also got like LinkedIn, YouTube, do blogs, community websites. Any other ideas of social media that could work for real estate that we haven't mentioned? And of course, again, the ones that work are the ones that you actually do. If you don't do them, they're not gonna work. So play around with the ones you feel like you want to work with and then make it work for you.
Question. Okay, so I've been playing around with Buffer.
Buffer?
If I use anything else, because I'm not good, so Buffer just helps me sit down, put everything in, then it shoots it out to Facebook or whatever, on the schedule that you set. Is there another system like that?
I heard good things about Buffer. They're like it'll just automatically do posts for you.
So I can just sit down on one day and it'll.
I just go through Facebook and I use
Because I
their.
can do it. Oh, they have one in there. Oh.
I mean, I'm sure there's gobs of companies that will upload it for you and manage it.
Did you
Yeah,
have
yeah, they have really-
Do you have a good experience with Buffer?
I did so far. I was wondering what's it called?
So one thing I'd like you to do for your homework, since we didn't get to do it in class, is go ahead and write a social media post. Okay, and then when you got it right, post it. See what happens. Watch for likes, comments, who's sharing it. And use something of value. Get a stat from the MLS or maybe a listing that you have or an open house coming up and get it out there and see what happens. Let's experiment with it. I'm not gonna say try, intend, or do it. Just do it. That's what Renee said. So, become a lead generation machine. I love what Rick Polciani said, and I told him this morning I was gonna quote him in class. He said this to me, and this is a life changer. And you may want to write it down. He said, I am not in love with lead gen. You know what? You might not like cold calling or door knocking or that part of real estate. He said, I'm not in love with lead gen, but I am in love with the life that lead gen has allowed me to live. And if you can wrap your head around that, and if you want to love the life that lead gen can afford you, then you know what? Lead gen. Just do it. Don't be afraid. You know what? Don't even get tripped up with it. You have to go in and do 3 hours. Can you start with 5 minutes tomorrow? You know, then 5 minutes might lead to 10 minutes, and 10 minutes might lead to 30. Don't get hung up that you have to do everything perfect the first time. Just go out there, find the business, and start being consistent at doing it and finding it and keeping track of what you've done. Don't get out there, do something, and then not cultivate it, and so that it goes by the wayside. You know, make your efforts worth it. You know, keep consistently doing it, and you're gonna like be so proud of yourself because you did it. And you'll be able to help so many people. So that is what we are gonna talk about today, since we have 5 minutes left, and we got a few more things to talk about for next week. And at the end of every Friday, they do want you to kind of, does anybody journal in here? If you can kind of look over what happened this week, write it down. These are my struggles. This was my victories. These are some of the thoughts I had, some questions I have. How can I get them answered? You know, if you keep kind of a track of your journey and then you go back and you are able to see the growth that you had in, you know, a month, 6 months, a year, it'll be just so exciting to see, because you didn't really think that a lot happened, but amazing amounts happened. Like my husband tells me that I am a totally different person since I've been taking Bold. I've taken Bold 14 times. And he said, and I like the person. So that makes me feel good. So we got some things for next class. You are going to take the paper that's in there on number 40. This is going to help you prepare for recall. If you've been enrolled, you've got the 20 contact sheet. You can just continue to use those, but have something where you're going to prepare who you're going to call the next day. Get that prepared so that when you go in there, you feel confident. You know what you're doing. You have a plan, and the plan's going to work. Do you know that 80% of your plans succeed? What if you don't have a plan? There's nothing to succeed. So have a plan, because most of them are going to work out. You know, you might fail at a couple, but who cares? 80% of them are going to work out. So get a plan and execute it. So let's just go over, recap really quick. What did we learn today? What are the benefits of prospecting? What? Money. You get to make money. Referrals. You get referrals. Build relations.
You can find business anywhere. We just have to be purposeful about people that we're connecting with, business, personal, professional.
Yep, you can find the business out there.
You can even look at it as it's practice every day.
Yeah. That's very good. She said you can even look at it as practice every day. It also increases your confidence, you know, when you're prospecting. Just like Kim said, you know, and I never thought of it this way when you're talking to the people that you've never met and you don't see. Instead of thinking it being as in fear, you can change that around, like, well, they're not see me again, or, you know, you can have that whole different mindset where then you would approach it. So it's, you know, change the way you think of things, and the things you look at change. So.
You have a phone number and you're nervous to call it. You just think it's no right now. I mean, the worst thing
Good
to say
point.
is no.
Good point.
It's no if I don't pick up that call. And there's so many times, like in my head, I'll be like, oh, they don't hear from me. They're gonna say this. They're gonna say that.
Yeah, you've already created a story that you believe. Yeah. Very good. All right, and what are the 4 C's of prospecting?
Capture.
Capture? Connect? Cultivate? Close. All right, what is the time blocking 3 and 3 and why is it important? I guess we didn't really say what it was. We know it's
Prepare, take action.
okay, prepare, take action, and maintain. So we got 3 hours with 3 systems, the prepare, maintain, and capture. Take action, sorry. And we had all different kinds of social media that we could do. And so we found out if we're doing the 10 contacts a day, that's 50 a week. And before you know it, you guys' database is gonna be big. You're gonna need opening up more bank right now, I'm using the KWES. And I know there's a lot of people that use all kinds. The one that you put it in and use is the one that works best.
I know less is separate. It doesn't connect, actually, so a lot of times you gotta have to like read it later.
But the new Kelly, once they get it, you can, yeah, you will be able to enter once they're filtered out. Yeah, I just printed mine yesterday. I put them in the edge because it's gonna naturally go over to. All right, so any ahas from today?
You.
Me?
You.
I was shocking. Anybody else?
There was a group of people I was missing when we went to that here. Is a like, even though I had 70 people, it was 4 blocks I never even touched because I didn't even know.
Yeah. There's always more new people. Well, you guys, I pray that each one of your lives are blessed and that your businesses flourish. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to call me, text me, email me. I've got a few cards if you want to. I wish you the very best. Thank you.